What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hidden Oaks Homestead. I'm Chip. This is Nicole. We've been out here for about 2 years working on our homestead from scratch. We have not perfected it in any means necessary, but we're continuously working on it. Our friends at the Squeaky Tree Homestead reached out to us and asked if we would be interested in a collaboration about how we would start a homestead in 2022 if we could do it all over again. And even though we're still kind of new at what we're doing, there's plenty of things that we would change if we had the opportunity. So one of the first things we'd probably look at, maybe change, I'm not sure, is raw land versus buying a pre-existing established farm. When we bought our place, it was just a house with 20 acres wooded, and everything that we've done ourselves since we got it. So maybe we would have bought something that was already established, that already had fencing, that already had a barn. If we could find something, probably save a lot of money.
A lot of time, for sure.
Time.
In regards to being able to just getting things started.
Just hitting the ground running, because it was okay, we want a barn and we want a pasture. Okay, we need to clear land first. And then we got it done, but we don't really have established soil or pasture. So we spent a lot of money in hay, because we really don't have good soil to grow grass. That's something we're working on. And then just all the outbuildings that come with it. And just maybe if we would have got an established farm, then we could have really hit the ground running, and
it would have made a difference, for sure. So having the infrastructure and something that was already established would have definitely helped us getting going and getting running quicker. But we settled on what we got and we've worked with it. It's not that we're unhappy with where we are.
We love it here.
But if we could start over, we would probably look harder for an established farm, or at least something that has some established outbuildings and some infrastructure already. Avoid going down the petting zoo route.
This is a hard one for me.
It's really tough to keep a lid on that, because they're all cute, they're all beautiful, they're all sweet.
I want all of the animals.
And it can get out of control really quick, and it can get expensive.
So know what your goals are for your homestead.
There's nothing wrong with a petting zoo if that's your goal. But for us, we wanted to get something out of it in regards to food, meat, milk, gardening, vegetables basically, and that's what we set out to do. So a petting zoo wasn't really part of it. If the animals are cute, that's fine, but the petting zoo was not really part of it, and we still went down that route quite a bit with a few of our animals.
Yeah, you get an animal, and then because it's cute and you love them, and then a few months later you look back and you're like, what benefit do you serve out here for us? Because everything we have needs to provide something, whether it's the dogs providing security for all the animals at night, the chickens laying eggs, the
goats giving milk,
goats laying milk,
they totally lay
giving milk. The cow that we're raising out for beef, we love them and they're cute and cuddly, but everybody's got a job. You want to avoid having freeloaders, and it's really hard to do unless you're really disciplined with it.
I don't know how the mom stands
Once you decide on the livestock that fits your homestead, make sure you do the research to know which breeds that you want to get. When we first started, we wanted milk goats, And we went with Nigerian dwarves because they were smaller. Turns out, for me, milking a Nigerian because they're so small is a very tedious project. And looking back, I wish we would have went with a boar or maybe a Nubian, something a little bigger. But now we have Nigerians, and that's the way it is in the foreseeable future.
For sure. I think we're definitely going to stick with what we have. In regards to the milk goats, they do a really good job. They're good moms. Yes, it's tough for him to milk, but he's not doing it anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Overall, when you're doing your research, you want to make sure, depending on where you live, are those animals suited for your area. Last thing you want to end up with is a Highland cow in Florida. That's probably not going to work out so well.
I do want a Highland cow
They
in Florida.
are beautiful, but they're not made to live here.
But each breed of each different type of animal comes with its own different characteristics, and you need to make sure that you get the animal that best suits your homestead.
Your homestead and where you live. It's just going to make your life so much easier when you have animals that are suitable to where you live. Looking back, we should have started smaller. When we got here, we went full in. Second week here, we went and got 20 laying hens and a rooster. 2 weeks after that, we started building for a herd of goats, and we honestly didn't know what we were getting ourselves into.
Chicken math and goat math kind of got the best of us starting out, for sure.
It went out of control really quickly, and you can overwhelm yourself really quickly with a lot of animals, because it's not just that they're there, they need to be fed, they need to be cared for, they need vaccinations, they need to be taken care of when they're sick, they need to be cleaned up after, they need to be watered, and we had nothing to really support that. So we were running around with 5-gallon buckets with feed and water, which was completely unnecessary if we would have just started smaller and worked our way up.
Lastly, I think looking back, something we could change is just not trying to follow anybody else or compete with another farm down the road, or if you see a YouTuber that has a 5,000 square foot garden, thinking, okay, we got to have a 5,000 square foot garden as well if we're going to be official homesteaders, and just doing it our way and not trying to compete with everybody else.
I think not trying to compete is the key word here. There's nothing wrong with learning from other people and from other farmers and from your community around you, but having that mindset of thinking that you're not doing things the way they should be done because somebody else is doing them differently, that is the problem.
Yeah, so just not comparing ourselves and holding other people to putting people on a pedestal or other farms on a pedestal that have probably been doing it a lot longer than we have. Just taking it slow and not trying to do everything all at once overnight. So starting over in 2022, if we had to do it again, that's maybe some things that we would put a little more emphasis on starting over.
There's definitely a few lessons that we learned along the way that we would apply to starting over. Check out the other videos down below in the description and the playlist that we're going to link here, because it's going to be really nice to hear from the other channel and what they would do differently starting over this year as well.
Is it my turn to start talking?
No, it's over.